Alrighty guys, so it's the middle of summer and we found ourselves a new snowmobile. No, it's not that. That's the Polaris Cobra that we've had for a year or two. It's out here. I just wanted to make a dramatic entrance. Here it is. AMF Ski Daddler Mark IV. I'm actually not sure what year it is at current, but I can tell it's a Mark IV because of that. So it's got a single cylinder JLO Rockwell, probably a 299, I believe, with a Tillotson carburetor, and the engine is free. As you can see, I'll put my hand in here and turn the clutch. Engine's free. I don't want to turn it much because I haven't done any work to it, and before turning over an engine that hasn't been used, especially an old two-stroke, you want to dump oil down the plug hole, because if the oil seal has sat in the same spot on the crank for a long time, it can stick to the crank, and if you turn the crank, you can tear the oil seal. Now I want to do a rebuild on this engine anyway to make sure it has good oil seals, because without those you can cook your engine, but for the time being I'm just trying to be careful with the oil seals it's got. So, pull starter is sticky, but as you can see there's a tiny bit of spring retraction in it, so I can tell it's still good. It just needs to be cleaned up so that it'll actually retract the rest of the way. Spring probably isn't broken. You can see the seat is in amazing shape for a seat this old that sat outside. It's another thing. The place that we got this snowmobile, so my brother was going to the local scrapyard to dump a load of metal scrap, and my other brother decided to go with him, and this is what they found. Just sitting there at the scrapyard, all together, with the seat that nice. Who knows how many years it's been sitting outside. The guy at the yard said that someone had come by wanting to purchase it a year ago and never did. So it's been there at least a year, if not longer, by a lot longer. It's still got a North Dakota snowmobile license plate expiring in 1975. So that kind of tells you when it was last being used. And I've never actually had one of these models of Ski Daddler before, so I'm not sure if this is original. I think it must be, because I don't think someone would have custom built that, but I don't know, I don't recognize this style of clutch cover. But anyway, let's see if I can move the hood off of here. Oh yeah. It's got functional hood clasps, so I actually have to undo those before getting the hood off. Alright, see if I can get it off of here one-handed. There we go. The hood is actually in good shape. There's barely any cracks. You can tell down here. Some little chunk of it got worn away, but that's not really very bad. And it can be repaired if I need to. So, let's see. Chain case, the cover was off. And anyone can see that that chain is solid. I can probably free it up with enough penetrating oil and then replace it, because clearly that's not something to reuse. But let's see. It's missing the gas tank, which is okay because you can put pretty much anything you want right here and use it as a gas tank. It doesn't have to be the original tank. And sometimes original plastic gas tanks would be all cracked, so it's all right that it's missing the gas tank. It's not too bad of a thing. Let's see. It has something I haven't had on a snowmobile before, which is an actual primer line to the carburetor. Not just the primer bulb, but there are 3 fuel line hookups on the carburetor. One is the main fuel line. The other is the pulse pump line that hooks up to the crankcase to work the fuel pump. And this third one is purely for priming the engine, I believe. So it's really kind of nice to have an engine with a built-in primer. I've never had that before. I've seen other sleds have had it, but haven't had it on one of mine. It looks like the exhaust is pretty much okay, although this flex pipe is probably going to need replacing eventually. All the wiring is surprisingly nice looking. It's not cracked or chewed up like other wiring has been in other projects I've had. The brakes seem to be rather frozen, so I don't really know what to make of that. I guess we'll have to figure that out later. Brake lever does not want to move. Probably a lot of penetrating oil is what we're going to have to do with that. Throttle moves though. Throttle moves just fine. You can see it moving on the carburetor there. Choke is stuck as well, but that's probably the choke cable, I'm guessing. And these choke cables are like $4 on eBay, so I'm going to replace it probably. Sadly, there's a smudge on the front. I'm guessing this happened when someone loaded it like in their tractor or something to drop it off at the scrapyard, because there's no impact mark on the tunnel to indicate that they actually ran into something. Well, actually, wait, there is an impact mark there, isn't there? Maybe they did run into something, I don't know. The skis have been modified as well. You can see they stuck a chunk of dimensional steel tubing here to make the front end of the snowmobile taller. Probably made it a lot more top heavy, but who knows, maybe it improved its ability to climb over tall drifts. Not sure. So obviously that ski saddle is bent at a bad angle and is going to need repair. Not the hardest thing in the world to repair though. And beyond that, let's see what else is there. Move this out of the way so I can turn the snowmobile over. On its side. There we go. Okay, well, as you can see, the track is absolutely junk, sadly. Seems to happen to this style of track a lot. Some of the bogey wheels are okay. Some of them are not. This one's obviously going to need replacing, clearly. And drive cogs are junk as well. They probably drive, you know, one ride maybe before falling apart completely. So drive cogs need replacing, track needs replacing, a few bogey wheels need replacing, so it's going to be kind of a lot of work to do, and since we have so many other sleds to work on, we're not really sure if we're even going to start this one right away or not, but we'll see. Back down. Okay, let's see. It's got the nice back in here. The tail lights here actually look like the bulbs are good and they're still wired in. It's got kickstand here that actually works, surprisingly enough. It's obviously broken and re-welded and dented in certain places, but it still kind of works. So what else is there? Seat, semi-functional on its pivot. As you can see, those screws have pulled out of the rotten wood, so we may well need to replace the seat cover, which would be kind of annoying because this is such a good original seat cover. We might just leave it be for now. It's got a big tool storage area. I didn't know these ones had this. This is good size in there. It's got a few old things under the seat, including a massive fuel filter and a screwdriver. Not a lot. Most sleds have a lot more junk under the seats, extra spark plugs and stuff like that. This one does not have very many extra spark plugs at all. But that's pretty much it. So this is going to be quite a project. I hope we can work on it soon, but we do have a lot of other snowmobiles that need work, so who knows if we're going to get to this one right away or not. But I certainly hope that we can, because I actually quite like it, even after such a short time of having it. I quite enjoy this snowmobile's looks already, and I wonder just how good it would be for driving. Never tried a single cylinder snowmobile, as surprising as that might be to people. I've only had twin cylinders before, so this would be a new experience for me to race around on a single. I've actually been wanting a single for a long time, and Kind of glad my brother found this, because now we're gonna have something that we can ride that'll be a little quieter maybe. So those twin cylinders make a lot of noise. Sometimes it can give you a headache, but I've been looking forward to trying a single cylinder someday. Now I got one. Of course, it doesn't have the key. That's one other thing I didn't mention. It doesn't have the key, but I'm sure we can fix that. We could probably get a lawnmower key or something and it'll work. And that's pretty much it. So if anyone happens to know where I could find a track for this reasonable price, make sure you post it in the comments, because, you know, that's always appreciated. And other than that, guess I'll be signing off now, and we'll see you later. Hopefully working on this project.